let's take one backtrack real quick, right? So you said you made 100K this month. Some people that's a lot. Some people that's nothing.
I took a 5K
from 5K to 100K.
in
right?
7 months.
And that's very hard to believe to a lot of people, right? I've seen it kind of in person.
Here,
right?
pass me my phone right there. I'm gonna
We're posting proof.
I'm gonna pull up the KuCoin account and I'll show it to you. I actually have a current trade open as well. This is an account that I literally started, and I, for example, opened up a Bitcoin short today because obviously anytime the market longs, you short because your liquidity to go the other way, and it worked. So let me show it to you as proof. So I took a 100K account. It was at 5K. Right there, you'll see it. You'll see 30K underneath on an open trade, and then you'll see the open P&L. You'll see the open P&L that says 70K. That means that's the amount of balance in the wallet. And then you have a $30,000 position open on a BTC short with $3,000 in net profit. So that puts my account from 5K to 107K. And the reason I did that was to prove to people that it's not about how much money you have. It's about the information that you have that allows you to multiply that money, but not only multiply it, back to the idea of Capital Club, but to preserve that money. And yeah,
so
it's
tell
a lot
us,
of money, but it's good.
What would you learn in the last 30 days?
I learned
and is this the first time you do this challenge?
No, bro.
So you've done it multiple
times. But the reason I do it is because I want to prove people that it's possible. So what did I learn? One, most people overtrade.
Yeah.
Right. So most people spend too much time in front of the charts instead of spending more time in front of the books and in front of learning and researching. Dude, I do not want to be the guy like Rambo. Too much room for failure, too much room for error, too much room for missing the target. I want to be the sniper. I want to be calculated. I want to wait on the tree. I want to make sure the weather's good. I want to check the humidity, and I just want to fire one bullet, and it's a fucking headshot. That's why we did the same thing, not only with crypto, but with e-commerce. Our winning products, one of every 4 products that we would launch was a winner. Why? Because we spent so much time learning, so much time doing the research that when we deployed a strategy, it worked. Back to Miyamoto Musashi, he said, life is about training. And the purpose of training is for you to be able to react without thinking. That it's so ingrained in your nature that people are like, dude, how did you know Bitcoin was going to go up and down? Because I've been looking at the chart every single day for 5 years.
Yeah.
And I've been understanding it, learning it, studying, becoming one with it. And these people are like, whoa, that's crazy. You're not using technical analysis? Let me break it down to you, motherfuckers. The top dogs ain't using technical analysis. They only use technical analysis to know what the noobs are doing. These guys are out here looking at bigger things. And I'll give you an example. Let me tell you one. I can't say who the billionaire is, but there's this really well-known billionaire that what he did was he wanted to open up certain positions with oil, right? He wanted to make some oil trades at a multi-billion-dollar level. Do you think this guy got on TradingView, did some support and resistance to figure out if he was going to buy some crude oil?
Yeah.
No, he realized that the containers that you have the crude oil stored in, the lids would go up and down in accordance to the level of the oil reserve. So the lid was kind of not a sealed lid; it was a lid that was placed over the top. So what does this dude end up doing? He launches satellites into space.
Thinking outside the box.
To measure the level of the lid and therefore know the reserves that are held in oil and make his trades and his positions in accordance to that information. Where are you going to get that, dude? That takes critical thinking. That takes experience. That takes knowledge. And you need to be able to put that into play at a micro level so that then you can do it at a macro level. So you got to think outside of the box. You can't be thinking how the sheep are thinking. Dude, if everybody's looking at the same technical analysis, everybody's going to do the exact same thing. Yeah. And it doesn't work. So you need to be able to use it as a measurement, but it can't be that alone. You need to be able to equip yourself with as many tools as possible.
I love that. Let me ask you this. I think the whole red pill movement has a very big correlation with crypto, right? Because crypto's messaging at its core is decentralization, right? Being against the government in a sense, or being not attached to the government, right? The independence idea. Do you think crypto is really going to be that ace to be like the good versus the evil?
No.
Why not?
Because the US government can print $1 trillion right now and buy all the Bitcoin in the world. Yeah. So this idea that For example, Fidelity. Fidelity has trillions of dollars of assets under management. Hopefully somebody can look up the logo of Fidelity. It's a little Masonic logo. And they started mining Bitcoin in 2015. Kathy Wood, she bought $100,000 worth of Bitcoin at $250. Dude, the big dogs have been in way before you. You think you got the information first? You think you landed on a Reddit forum and you're ahead of all the guys that are actually institutionalizing and making the rules and setting things in stone? You're mistaken. For example, a couple days ago, we had a new prime minister assigned to the UK.
Yeah. Bitcoin.
There you go. And now they're going to push a CBDC. I was sitting with the head, and hopefully you come out to the next mastermind. I was sitting out, we did the Phuket the mastermind in Albania, and I brought out a gentleman by the name of, last name Fulani. And he's the governor of the Central Bank of Albania. He's the one that signs the money that goes out. I asked him 3 questions. The first one I said, Mr. Fulani, do central banks run the world? And he said, well, I can't answer that, but what I can tell you is what JP Morgan said. JP Morgan said, whoever controls the money controls the world. 1. The second question I asked him was, is Bitcoin money? And he said, well, what are the functions of money? It has to be a value. It has to be a means of exchange. It has to have a store of value, things of this nature. So Bitcoin, by definition, is money. The third question I asked him, because he's a globalist, and I still talk to these people because I'm here to learn. I'm a student mind. I asked them, World Economic Forum, 2030, all these things. Is it going to happen? He said, undoubtedly it's going to happen. And the reason he knows it's going to happen is because we're going to go back into a state of what's called techno-feudalism. I'm not going to go into super in-depth details as to what techno-feudalism is. We'll talk about it over dinner because it's a little bit of a deeper conversation, things that I think people need to go and explore. But if you think a bunch of retail Wall Street bet investors are going to go against the system that allowed them to get rich in the first place, is foolish. These guys control everything, and they're going to continue controlling everything because you're not disciplined enough to get your act together to compete. What, you think you're going to compete with these guys that are quants that are running hedge funds worth billions of dollars by reading 2 books a year? By hanging out with scrubs all day? Dude, you're so far behind that people can't even comprehend how weak they truly are. So my recommendation for people is understand where things are going, understand where the trends are moving, and position yourself in a way where you, as part of the system, because you are a part of the system, like you are part of the problem, you're part of the virus, just as much as everybody else is part of the virus. You need to position yourself in a way that you can succeed and you can minimize your risk. So what does this mean? Over the next coming years, there's going to be a couple major sectors that are going to be extremely popular. Sector number 1, anything that has to do with green renewable energy, massive sector, right? So me understanding this, I'm going to start looking for projects, companies that are going to position myself, right, to make. Dude, these guys still have to pull their money out of the markets. They still have to be able to play these games. So what I'm doing is I'm figuring out where are these guys going, and how can I take a little nibble? I'm not here to fight. We said it before, right? If this idea that you died, nothing matters in this life, then why am I going to be focused all my attention on trying to disrupt the machine?
Yeah.
Dude, like what sort of God complex do you have that you think that you're going to disrupt the machine? You're a cog in the machine. You don't even know. But when you have the humility to recognize you're a cog in the machine, you have to figure out, well, how do I capitalize? And how can I make sure that the people around me don't get fucked, don't get finessed by the system, don't get famoosed? Because so many people are. And if you have the ability to capitalize on that and to do good with the resources that you gain from that, I think that that's a win.
I think one thing that's really shined out for crypto is the idea of community, right? Like we talked about religion.
That's
earlier.
massive, bro. Yeah.
And I think that's like the biggest like turning point for crypto people was like the idea of like we belong together because we put our money where our mouth is, right? We all bought into this coin, we all bought into this founder, we all bought into this NFT. So it's like now governments are trying to, well, not trying. Governments don't have that system within them, right? I think like the thing with the government is like there's a lot of dissection. And one thing I did notice is minorities are very loud, and they've gotten louder with crypto now. Why do you think that is?
I mean, I think the smallest dog usually barks the loudest, and the people that are focused on doing aren't out here tweeting all day.
Mm.
The oil moguls, the guys that are out here doing $100 billion deals with countries to say we're going to sell you food supplies and things like that. They're not out here tweeting. They're out here moving things at a big level. Dude, just Google this, guys. Google the top 100 privately owned companies that you've never heard of. These are companies doing $100, $200, $300 billion of revenue a year. They're not publicly listed. You don't know who the fuck the owners are. These companies have been around for 100, 200, 300 years. They run the fucking game. They run the world. So community is phenomenal. It's great, but it's not enough, right? Like this idea of being surrounded by a community is not good enough. You need to intentionally plant yourself in communities where you're the smallest fish, right? Where you can actually excel, where you're not the guy that's like, oh, got to go back on Discord, got to go babysit these motherfuckers. Like that doesn't work. And for the other side of the coin, for those investors, gamblers that are on the other side of the coin or the other side of the table, if you're out here assuming that somebody's going to work day and night to multiply your investment, and that's what you're gambling on, you're a fucking fool. Because you have just set your future and destiny on the skill set and the resources of another person. And there's no more dangerous place to be than in the hands of another incompetent person. And 95% of the people that launched NFT projects, crypto projects, they're guys that are just trying to figure it out. They're innovating. But with innovation comes a lot of failure. And if you're going to position yourself in a situation where you're, once again, relying on another person, relying on the system, relying on this community, how are you supposed to get forward? It's impossible to do so. So I see people doing the exact same thing that they were doing in Web 2.0. They're doing it in Web 3. So it's like Nate said, people want uphill results. They want to win the uphill battle with downhill work ethic, downhill systems, downhill mentality, and it doesn't work that way.
I think the issue with crypto community is community facilitates information. The wrong information to an individual who listens to it for a very long time can create an echo chamber of pure idiocy in terms of like misinformation. Because I can be in a group where like,
let's talk about the fucking XRP community.
Let's talk about
dude.
XRP
ain't going to 589, dude. It ain't going to 589. Get over it, dude. I've been in fucking XRP since 2017. That shit ain't moving.
That's a beautiful example.
Quit being a cold motherfucking follower and be like, well,
thank you for clarifying that.
I'm gonna hold my fucking 10,000 XRP tokens because one day it'll be the currency that is going to be used by the Bank of International Settlements or by the ECB. Dude, I've been down this fucking the whole rabbit trail. Like, I've been down it. I got famoosed. And then I realized, damn, there's another 8,000 projects that could give me plenty of ROI while this shit still gets settled with the SEC. So it's this cultish community that, once again, you're relying on the information that's being fed to you. And misinformation. Why? Because people have agendas. Do you not think these motherfuckers want to pool your money? Did you not see Luna? Did you not see Luna, bro? Do you not fucking learn? Every single bull run, the same bullshit, but with a different cloak. Every single time. Get woke.
Yeah. I concur.
I was watching
this XRP shit got me spiced up, bro. Like, I'm
it was
telling
a
you,
perfect example.
It's the perfect example of getting famous and
the funny part is I was thinking about it. I just didn't want to bring it up, so I'm glad you brought it up. Thank you, because
what was I saying though? Oh, I was watching in preparation, obviously, for the podcast, what you guys were doing in Romania with Tates. I don't think you guys talked about that experience yet. Have you?
Yeah, we haven't. No, we haven't talked about the Tates at all whatsoever. Do you want me to go into it a little bit?
Yeah, let's talk about that. And then let's talk about, obviously, the food. The food and how that affects your brain. I think, obviously, you guys touched on it a little bit, but go deeper.
So I'll talk a little bit about kind of like our experience in Romania. So I've known Tate for about 2 years, right? So it's not this idea of like...
Buy Rumble. I think... Hold on, real quick.
Buy Rumble.
I think the alpha is buy Rumble. You can. I might be wrong. Obviously, not financial advice, but I really think Tate, Rumble, and the whole Red Pill movement. You, Sneeko.
So
I think you guys have a very big agenda.
I do not classify myself as Red Pill, and I'll tell you why. Because at the end of the Matrix movie, Neo realizes that he's not the chosen one. He chose to be the chosen one. So everybody can choose to be the chosen one. And what red pill means to one person might not mean red pill to another individual. So I do not want to be classified or grouped up with anybody. I'm an autonomous individual trying to figure shit out. I'm friends with different people. I'm friends with everybody. I'm trying to figure shit out. So I go to Romania, I've been helping Tate with certain things that he needed help with and things of this nature. I think it was about March of 2020 when COVID started. I came across one of Tate's videos, and I drive 2 hours to go tell Nate, bro, this guy, he's going to blow up when everybody gets fed up. This guy's going to blow up. Yeah. If Tate was a stock,
how many followers did Tate have at the time?
80,000 on Instagram.
And I think one of his first podcasts was with the Fresh and Fit and that one single girl. Right?
I'm not familiar, right? I haven't consumed a crazy amount of Tate's content. So I'm in a situation where I saw this guy. I'm like, okay, this guy's saying certain things, whether I agree or disagree with him is irrelevant, but he has a point. So I was like, when people get fed up, the pendulum is going to swing. Yeah. Right. So the pendulum did swing. And if Tate was a stock, dude, I would have gotten fucking pumped. Rich.
Yes.
And I was right. And the reason I was right is because I understood where things were going. So with that being said, I was like, hey, I saw, we've been doing business on certain things, just like I do business with hundreds of people. And I was doing my stuff in Southeast Europe. And I said, hey, Tate, I'm nearby. And he's like, pull through. So came by, just hung out, had a good time. And we just literally just talked about what we're talking about now. Yeah. Right. And you want to be in circles and situations and in rooms with people that are intelligent, people that are more intelligent with you, people that know information that you don't know. And another guy that's an absolute killer is their cousin Luke. That guy is a fucking gem.
Smart guy.
And one of the big things that I realized, and this is probably a highlight, whether you're left wing, right wing, whether you believe in this, whether you don't believe in this, no wings, chicken wings, it doesn't fucking matter. They have something that's extremely important. They have unity.
Yeah.
They take care of each other. So you need to be able to, regardless of the messenger, be able to look at a message and ask yourself, is there anything valuable worth extracting? Pull the meat, leave the bones. Most people look at something and they're like, oh, this is shit.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's not shit. Maybe you are shit. Yeah. Or maybe it's a different opinion. You don't have to love what everybody says, but maybe you can pull something that is useful for you. So what am I as a student of life? I want to expose myself in situations, put myself in scenarios, comfortable, uncomfortable, good, and bad, where I can excel. And what I came to realize, and Nate came to realize the same thing, is that these dudes have opinions that we don't agree with. They have opinions that we do agree with. But at the end of the day, I realized that they have something really, really important. This was the biggest highlight. They have each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bro, if you, I don't care what side political side you're on. If you don't have a strong team, if you can't look at how a bunch of,
we're in a world where everybody wants to do it by themselves. Exactly. Because the raps tell them, hey, I did it by myself from the ground up, right?
Exactly.
I'm self-made. The news tells them,
let me tell you something, motherfuckers. Self-made doesn't exist.
Shit. Yeah, you can't do that shit self-made alone. You need a team, you need a unit, and you need a strong team and unit.
Just like I sat down with the head of the Central Bank of Albania, I sat down to learn. Do you think I agree with his globalist agenda? No, I don't.
Who gives a fuck?
Who gives a fuck? I'm here to learn, dude.
Yeah.
I'm here to learn. And when you're friends with people and you humble yourself and you put yourself in a situation to learn, you can learn a lot. Yeah. And that's what I came to realize is they're more balanced than a lot of people think. There's things that they do that I don't agree with, but I'm not supposed to agree with everything. Yeah. If you're only hanging out with people that agree with everything that you do and say, then you're never going to grow. Yeah. Nobody's ever challenging you. Nobody's ever pushing you. And I'll give you one example, right? So for example, I did quite well in the bull run and things of this nature. And I was like, okay, Tristan, should I buy a supercar? And he's like, why not? And we started talking about the pros and cons of having one, right? Like the brokers would be like, well, it's not an ROI positive investment when it comes to
depreciation.
But then he's like, well, let's talk about all the other verticals where it is valuable. And then he started making me realize, and he challenged me to do something that I didn't want to do because he had a good point. Whether I agree with his worldview on this or on that or on this, he had a good point about this specific topic. And dude, I've sat with people that I don't agree with fundamentally at their at the core, and I sit down and I listen. And I think if you instill that as a way of being and as a lifestyle, you can learn from everybody.
Yeah.
So I think Romania is fire. What do you think?
It was very interesting because we actually were in Romania before 20
Oh,
years
wow, really?
previously. Yes. So it was very beautiful to see the country become something evolve. Yeah, basically grow. I genuinely like the guys in terms of they have hard work, they're smart, and they have a team. Most people spend time talking about the Tates, and the Tates don't spend time talking about them.
Yeah. Of course.
Dude, they ain't fucking worried, bro.
I think it was in this video where I picked this up. I think Tristan said it. Small minds talk about people, right? And then he said,
great minds talk about
average people talk about.
I think current events and
correct.
great minds talk about ideas. Correct.
Yes.
I think
And that's what we did.
who else
We
said
just sat
this?
down and talked about ideas.
Somebody else said this. What's this actor that did the movie? What's the movie that he's like a janitor at Home Depot, but he's actually like a killer and takes over all like the
Matt Damon?
No, it's the black guy, the Russian mafia. He takes over the Russian mafia, the black guy. He's super famous.
Oh, Denzel Washington?
Denzel Washington.
Oh,
I think that's Denzel's quote. Denzel's got some fire quotes.
Yeah,
He's a smart
But
man.
long story short, dude, we spent 2.5 months in Europe meeting with entrepreneurs from all over the world. And what I came to realize is that these guys, just like Khabib says, and just like they say, is train Allah, train Allah, train Allah, train Allah. They're in a situation, but they don't give a fuck, dude. They're just working.
So
And so many people don't attribute. They're like, oh yeah, well, you just got lucky. You're a 4-time kickboxing world champion. All right. Dude, it takes work.
Of course.
It takes work. What do you think? You're just gonna be driving a Bugatti because you're out here selling the course? Gee, it takes so much more than that.
facts.
Yeah.
So take what you want and leave what you don't want. But just because you don't agree with the messenger doesn't mean the message is not true.
You're gonna say something?
And I think it boils down to what he said.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about health. We did talk about that. That was a
We
big
did.
one
We
for
did
him.
talk a lot
Yeah.
with them about health.
Yeah.
So I want to challenge a lot of the crypto guys because I know we have like a big crypto community, a big crypto audience. You guys, if you guys want to level up your trading game, your investment game, your finance game, you need to be optimized. Like we talked about the CPU. You need to be optimized because everything around you is designed to keep you back, to hold you back, to hold you down. Oh yeah, but it tastes good. It doesn't matter if it tastes good.
Yeah.
Dude, there's so many things that are not good for you that taste good, that feel good, that are nice. But when the bill comes, you got to fucking pay the dues.
Mhm.
And the question is it worth it? And a lot of times it's not. I'll give you an honest example that I've never talked about. Earlier this year, I went on like I was smoking cannabis too much, more than I should have. And in 1 month, I lost $3.6 million. Right? So I lost $3.6 million, and I've never shared this. And it wasn't because, I wasn't trading good. No, it's because I wasn't prioritizing and I wasn't doing the right things that